Hi, my name is Richard Symes. I am a bankruptcy attorney out of Seattle, Washington. I also practice real estate, debt negotiations, foreclosure defense, probate, estate planning, just to name a few. My law firm is Symes Law Group PLLC, and I've been practicing since about 2009, and I opened my practice at the end of 2010. Right now, it's just myself, and I have one virtual assistant. We are pretty busy, so always looking to see if we might bring on another assistant in the future. Some of the challenges that I was facing before hiring remote legal staffing was that I was just too busy. As a solo attorney, I just couldn't handle everything on my own. I did hire a company to answer the phones, a virtual answering service. And I was looking for more of a personal touch for somebody to answer the phones. And by having an employee of my own, that helped give the business a personal touch. I was looking for somebody who spoke really good English, would be good on the phone, and can also do legal tasks in between. And I felt that trying somebody offshore might be the best approach in terms of cost-saving approach, as well as building value and helping that person gain experience as well in the US. I found RemoteLegalStaff through a friend of mine who's an attorney, and he recommended RemoteLegalStaff to me. And I ended up interviewing, maybe 20, 25 people, and until I found a perfect match that I thought, and they welcomed the challenge of coming on board, and it's been great. Before hiring remote legal staff, I was looking for different options, how I was going to handle finding an employee. It was my first time actually hiring an employee who would be full-time. And so I was perusing different websites and trying to see what kind of fit would make sense, contractor sites or other virtual assistant websites. And Remote Legal Staff was focused on the legal industry, so it did provide a lot of attorneys and assistants who are interested in the legal field. So I thought that was a good fit. Also providing a handbook to employees, or they were supposed to create that starting out so that they really get a feel for the law firm and how we do things here. But ultimately, I felt that it was a really good fit of the person that I found. And being in the legal industry, I think that is what put it over the edge for me. And just in terms of quality, and also the support staff's been really great, checking in, making sure the employee's feeling good. And also they provide the employees benefits. So I think that's important as well. So the employee has their health care taken care of and don't have to worry about that. And it's taken off my plate as well. So it's not something that I have to worry about moving forward. Remote legal staff really stood out to me by vetting the different candidates for me through their online websites. I could go through the different candidates. They've already been screened, and also the fact that the additional benefits that they're being provided gave me the confidence that I could work with remote legal staff moving forward. Also, if somebody was unable to work anymore, they would replace them, give me new candidates. So that made me feel confident as well moving forward. Remote legal staff provided a diverse sample size of candidates for me to choose from. It involved candidates from just on the assistant level all the way through full-fledged attorneys. They came from all different countries, and they all showed a passion and interest in the law. But most of them had some sort of tie to the legal industry, and that's something that I was looking for, or at least sales experience or customer service, and even taking legal classes, even if they weren't a full-fledged attorney. And so that allowed me to choose from the best candidates and best fit for my firm that generally showed an interest in what I was doing, what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. During the interview process with remote legal staff candidates, most interviews consisted of maybe 5 to 10 minute screening interviews, just trying to get a feel for the candidates after reading their resumes and trying to see how I might be able to work with them and our chemistry on a day-to-day basis. Just for the particular job that I had, available, it'd be working closely with myself. And so I had to make sure that we'd be able to work well together. Communication was there and clear. And so after interviewing several candidates, I narrowed it down, and after a few days of thought, I decided that one candidate stood out among the rest, and we were able to bring her on board. My remote legal staff employee answers the phones on a daily basis. She does the scheduling, and between doing the phones and the scheduling, she's working on bankruptcy petitions. She's following up with clients, collecting information, asking me follow-up questions, clarifying things so that she can be fluent in bankruptcy petition prep. On top of that, I've had her create real estate deeds. I've had her help with estate planning, wills and trusts. I've had her negotiate debt settlements, short sale negotiations, following up with banks, just about everything that the firm does, learning little by little as time goes by. It does take time with any new employee to jump in and learn this stuff. I think she's doing a great job. And so it helps me free up my time so that I have more time to create videos like this or work on marketing tasks, things just outside of just being the general operator in the business. I now have somebody else who can pick up the slack, and as we grow, maybe bring on somebody else who can fall in line, and maybe in the future she can help them learn as well. With my remote legal staff employee, I have her learning many different softwares, everywhere from our client management system. It's also a marketing system called Lawmatics. Had her build out intake processes and automations through Lawmatics. We also use bankruptcy software called Jubilee, in addition to Calendly for scheduling. There's also software for recording and drafting real estate deeds. So on the software side, I think she's doing really great. She's never had any experience with any of these software starting out. And moving forward, she's becoming even smoother in the process, asking less follow-up questions. So everything's going really great with that. Remote legal staff has been really great in terms of assisting my offshore legal assistant just in whatever she needs. I know she has regular evaluations and follow up with remote legal staff. And I know she's had some technology issues, maybe with the phone or internet stuff, and they've been able to assist her get that up to speed. So there's really no downtime. As time has gone on, that's improved quite a bit. And so I think we're running smoothly right now, but I think remote legal staff plays a key role in helping keep her on track and making sure she's performing well. They also have tools that can monitor what she's doing on a day-to-day basis and making sure she's at work and doing what she needs to do with that. So, I don't know if you'd get that if you just hired somebody off an online forum. So it keeps the staff accountable, but also performing at their highest level. Overall, my employee with remote legal staff has been great. I don't know if I'm really missing a whole lot by not having somebody in the office every day. I myself work a lot virtually, so having somebody work virtually is ideal for my situation. Every once in a while there might be a task where I need somebody to go to the office or meet a client or drop off some mail or go to the courthouse and do something. But at least for my practice, that's not too often. So 95% of the time, we're not really missing that face-to-face. She works great, just working on her own. We communicate through G-Chat all throughout the day. And so, at least for me, it's really, I don't feel like I'm missing anything, compared to the cost difference that it would definitely be having an employee in-house every day, in terms of also taxes and other things that have to be paid, if you do bring on a full-time employee. I would say going into it, my expectations were I wasn't really sure. I had high expectations that anybody that I hired from remote legal staff would perform their job and do a great job at it. But there was always kind of that wondering, is it going to really work? I don't know. So far, everything has been great for the most part, despite maybe a couple, I think there was a tsunami or something where she lost internet, but outside of that, everything's been pretty good. We're in constant communication. and she's lived up to or exceeded expectations so far, given that she's never done any of this work before. And so I've been very happy with that. Remote Legal Staff has been very responsive to any concerns that I've had. They've been pretty minimal, to be honest, but I have been impressed with their communication and ability to communicate with me. For instance, any technology issues or anything like that I might have had with my staff have been quickly resolved. They reach out to her and make sure everything's running smoothly. So everything's been great. So since I hired my first remote legal assistant from Remote Legal Staff, business has definitely increased. I don't know if it's related, but I would assume it has, or it is related, just because of the work she does on the phone and scheduling and how I operate on a day-to-day basis. The worst thing you could do, they say, is answer your own phone, right? So if you're answering your own phone, maybe you're not scheduling them from a consultation. So now we're able to schedule everybody. If a consultation fee is required, then we're able to collect that up front. Also, part of my marketing is doing blog posts, and I also do a radio show every month. And so she's really helped with that in terms of drafting the topic, the article, getting that on the website. So that frees up my time, so I don't have to worry about that and think about it. So I've been able to train her up on how to pick the topic, get the draft, and get the content ready for the website. So again, it just frees up my time, and that's what it's all about. Long term with Remote Legal Staff, I see it as my business grows, Remote Legal Staff will be there to help me with my needs if I need it as we get busier. I know I can count on them to provide the best candidates, to screen them for me, and to try to find people to my specific needs. And so this positions the firm, at least, from a cost-wise, to be able to scale more or invest more in marketing or more in the firm to help grow the firm and moving in the right direction. Working with Remote Legal Staff has so far exceeded my expectations as from a return on investment aspect. I've seen my business, at least from financial aspect, grow over the last 6 months. And I'm able to take on more cases, produce more marketing material. And so far it's been really, really great. And I look forward to working with Remote Legal Staff in the future. For me, hiring somebody in general, any employee, was difficult. But once I got so busy that I couldn't do everything on my own, I had to make a decision of how I was going to bring on staff. What's that going to look like? And obviously you're looking at it from a cost standpoint as well, and what's going to make the most sense for you. I myself work mostly virtually, and so I think it was a no-brainer that working with somebody virtually, whether locally or offshore, was going to be a good idea. I've been listening to lots of podcasts and different businesses hiring remote staff, so I felt I had a little bit of confidence going into it that it was probably going to work, but I wasn't really sure what the caliber was, what I was going to be getting. Ideally, I wanted the perfect candidate who already had training and everything that I've done that will help the firm, but I'm not sure that that exists, or maybe you could find it locally, but offshore, you're going to have to take a risk and try to find someone who you think you can train up potentially. And so the biggest fear was that the person was just not going to work out. Is my data going to be safe? You're giving them access to a lot of your information. But so far that hasn't been a problem. And with Remote Legal Staff there, they monitor and keep them motivated and encourage them to reach out if they do need support with anything. So, I was given the confidence through Remote Legal Staff, not so much with, other websites I found online. I really didn't know what I was getting. Even before, I tested it out with somebody else who just had kind of reached out to me, and I didn't have the confidence with that person that it was going to work out long term, but going through an agency who really found the right candidate really gave me the confidence that this was going to move forward, and so far it's worked out great. Overall, I'd highly recommend Remote Legal Staff for your staffing needs. I've been very happy with my assistant. I've had clients tell me how great the person answering the phone is, They've even mentioned her in some of our online reviews that your staff is just great. And so I really couldn't expect any more than I've gotten through RemoteLegalStaff. It's also been financially great for myself and the law firm in terms of being able to save on costs from hiring a local person to be taking on these tasks. It's also improved quite a bit, I think, the client intake versus going with a virtual answering service. Having a live person who really understands your business, even if they are remote, having that person locally, or not locally, but who really understands what you're doing and can communicate that to a client versus a virtual answering service who really doesn't understand your business or how it operates. I would definitely highly recommend trying out virtual legal staff and for any remote legal staff for your staffing needs, and hope you give it a shot.